Welcome to the What's the BPM podcast, DJ Paul Hutchinson. I'm a massive fan of your social media channels, mate. I've been a long time follower and subscriber. It's great. I think what you do is awesome, and I'm really looking forward to this because I'm kind of like you. I think I'm always keen to learn new things, and you're just a wealth of knowledge. So thanks for jumping on, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, awesome. So if you're a DJ and you're watching or listening to this, get your pen and paper ready because you're going to learn loads. But I mean, this is a podcast about the history of the scene, and I love hearing all the stories about the old days. So before we get into your social media marketing stuff, can we talk a little bit about your history in the scene and how you got involved in dance music?
Yeah, 100%. So it was back in 1988. So I'm 18 years old and I'm managing a snooker club for a friend of mine. And he had some decks in the corner. I don't even know how they got there. But anyway, I had probably about 10 vinyls at the time. And I would just go on and just mess about and kind of teach myself how to mix from one track to the other. And I'd heard Pete Tong, his essential radio show he had on BBC Radio 1 back in the day. That's kind of where I was first introduced to dance music. And then it was a friend of mine, Conan Liquid, also known as Conan Manchester, now produces under the name Crates Motel. He was a big inspiration for me. He played a lot of disco, kind of hip hop back in the day as well. But he was one of the first people to introduce me to Masters at Work, and in particular Louis Vega. And the first time I heard Louis Vega and that kind of Latin sound of house music, I was kind of hooked. Then I'd kind of delve a little bit more and start finding out about people like Frankie Knuckles and listening to how he produced his music and how he DJ'd. So that was the big thing. They were the two big inspirations, Louis Vega and Frankie Knuckles. Without a doubt, the main reason that I'm a DJ today. And when I was in the snooker club, a friend of mine came in and saw me DJing one night and said, "Oh, do you fancy coming to DJ in my bar?" He had a bar in town called Palms Wine Bar that was brand new. And at that time, none of the bars had DJs in. It was only the nightclubs where DJs were. So this was like a new thing. So I just went in there and we just kind of played it by ear. We'd see what happened. And I was teaching myself to DJ at the same time, as we built the kind of night. And it picked up really quickly. I'd play every Thursday to Sunday, and it was packed front to back, like 300-400 people in there every single night, Thursday to Sunday. And every week just got better and better. Like the music improved. I used to go to London to Black Market Records on the train and buy like 5 tracks that came out of New York and Chicago, come back and play them. And it was just such an exciting time because house music was just starting to come over. And it was perfect timing. And that was kind of where it all started. So for 3 years solid, I was playing every weekend. It was just the best.
What was Black Market Records like? I heard so many stories.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah, you just kind of walk in and as soon as you walked in, there was like a vibe straight away with a ton of DJs everywhere. You'd have like 3 people normally behind the counter that would be selecting records. And you just go in and tell them the kind of thing that you wanted, and they'd just pull loads off and give you a pile. And then you'd go over to one of the decks and just listen to them, with your headphones on.
Yeah.
And then just give them the ones that you want to buy. It was wicked. And then Uptown Records was just down the road as well. I think we were both on the same street, Diablo Street. And I'd go to Uptown Records downstairs. And at the time, I didn't know, but a friend of mine who I now work with, a guy called Ronnie Hurrell, he used to work at that record shop. I didn't even know. So he was downstairs. It was wicked.
Isn't it cool that a lot of these guys are still working in the industry?
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, people like Brandon Block, and he's a really good friend of mine now. But when I look back, when I first met him, I just remember being awestruck. And he was telling me just some incredible stories. And now, we kind of work together and we do stuff together. And I still kind of get those moments where I have to pinch myself when I can kind of call these legends my friends.
Yeah,
It's insane.
that
I
is
love
cool.
it.
It's funny because a
Yeah.
lot of the DJs that used to come over to Australia in the 2000s, I'd ask them, oh, who have you met that's like been pretty wild? And like Brandon Block used to come up in conversation. He used to be pretty mad back in the day, apparently.
Yeah, some incredible stories. I probably shouldn't share some of the ones he's told me on here, but
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
yeah,
Yeah,
such a great guy.
so you were DJing like through the 90s or the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
How did your career progress?
Yeah, so then I kind of took some time out. I got into another relationship, and we had a child. So I had a son, Joshua, who's now 24, 23. Um, and so I kind of took some time out, and it was a different relationship. It was kind of, she didn't really like me DJing that much, which is really tough when you've got a partner who's like that. I'm very lucky now. My current wife is so supportive of my career and everything. It's really important to have that as a DJ. So I took some time out, and then in 2010, I went back to my hometown in Colchester and walked past one of the clubs on the high street called the Hippodrome. And I saw a sign outside for a King of the Decks DJ competition. And just something just clicked in my head and said, you need to just enter this. So I took the note of I think it was a phone number at the time, took a note of the phone number and called it and got the information I needed, put in my application to go. And then I was invited down to play. And you had to play like 3 or 4 different rounds to get through to the final and stuff. And then it kind of went from there. And I managed to get through to the final. And it was actually against a friend of mine called DJ Nitro. And you had to mix for like 20 minutes and do some mic work as well. And that was it. It was kind of judged on that. And I ended up winning the competition, which was incredible. And this was the one for the area where I lived. I also then got invited to the big UK final and got down to the final 3. And during my set, the next DJ who was playing, it was vinyl then, came on and he put his bag on the deck, one of the decks that was playing. And obviously the track stopped. And I wondered what the hell was going on. Completely threw me and kind of just, I just kind of lost my momentum and I ended up coming runner up, I think. But I was so gutted. But it was incredible to win it for the first time.
Yeah, I always find that like DJ comps are such a hard thing to do because if you play like say Soulful House like you do,
Yeah.
you kind of need a few hours really to show what you can do.
Yeah, totally.
Like how do you do that in like a 20 or 30-minute set?
I think I just crammed in as many tracks as I could.
Just go between, keep chopping and
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah. I don't think I played too many vocal tracks, if I remember rightly. It's a bit more the kind of piano influence stuff. But yeah, it was. And we also did another competition later on, me and a friend of mine, and it was judged by Norris the Boss Windross. I don't know if you know him. He's an iconic garage DJ. And we got through to the final again, but in the final there was another guy, and his name was Junior Windross. It was his son. So we was like, there's no way we're going to win this, man.
Yeah.
So we ended up coming runners up again, but yeah, it was wicked.
So when you won the area competition, did that sort of kickstart your career again?
Yeah, it did. Do you know what? Two things. First of all, it gave me the confidence to know that I can still do this. I've still got it. And there was a piece done in the local newspaper. There was a guy that used to come and watch me DJ a lot, and he did a big article about me winning this competition. And there was a big centre page spread in the local paper. And unbeknownst to me, someone saw it, and it was a guy called Darryl Wright. Basically, his mother-in-law saw it and said, "Oh, Darryl, you should hook up with this DJ. He's just won this competition." So I think when I spoke to him afterwards, he said he was going to get in contact with me, but he never did. And I was given a gig one night at Silk Road in Colchester where I played, which was like one of the biggest venues at the time. And Darryl was on the same lineup, so we kind of got talking, and the promoter suggested that we play back to back on that night. So we did. And it just so happened that it was one of the worst snowstorms in for years. So every other bar in the whole town just closed because of the weather, and Silk Road was the only one that stayed open. So everybody was coming to us because people, the word was getting out. So we ended up having the most incredible night. Like the place was packed, the crowd was rocking, and we just bounced off each other, and it was just, we literally fell in love that night. It was insane. And then we DJ'd together, from there as a DJ duo called Slave to House. Did some incredible things. I think at the time we were both working full time as well. So we would like be messaging each other during work, coming up with the name for the DJ duo and sending emails out to promoters and thinking of all the things that we could do to get gigs. And then he took me, he said, we need to go to Ibiza. That's where we're going to do it. If we're going to break anywhere, it's got to be Ibiza. So we went to Ibiza, we met loads of people, and I got in with the guys at S Paradis, and they offered us a night there, our very own night, if we could sell like 300 tickets or something. So we thought, right, we're just going to promote the hell out of this. We burned loads of CDs off with a flyer of the night on, walked up and down the beach for days, handing out CDs. And we ended up getting about 500 people in the club for our night. Had some friends fly over as well to play with us. And again, it was just one of those nights where it kind of, almost like launched us. And then other people saw us, and we ended up getting a residency in Madrid from it, where we'd play like every fortnight with a brand called Fabulous. Played for them at Pasha in London, headlined for them in the main room, and loads of really cool things like that. And then I got, because Dal has got kids, so he couldn't always do the gigs that we got. So some of them I'd have to do on my own. So one of them was Miami, the Miami Winter Music Conference. And I got invited to fly out there in 2013, I think it was. So that was brilliant. I kind of DJ'd as Slave to House, but just me. And it's just nights like that you just always remember. I remember it was a Trax Records party. I ended up playing for them in Amsterdam as well, but this one in Miami, I was the only white guy in there. I was the only white DJ, and I was the only white person in the room. It was just everywhere I'd looked, it was just my brothers were there, and it was insane. And as I walked in, kind of everyone was looking at me, and not everybody, first of all, they probably didn't know who I was, but there was only one person, the guy that booked me. But they were kind of a bit offish with me, not really welcoming me in. Anyway, I got on the decks. I think the first track I played was Alison Limerick, Where Love Lives. Can't remember. But anyway, the first track I dropped, I could kind of see the room change, and they kind of got it. And obviously, as the set went on, I was playing loads of soulful house and Louis Vega kind of inspired house. And by the end of it, I came off after an hour, and it was just all hugging me and like high fives everywhere. It was just the best experience.
Awesome.
Yeah, so cool.
Sorry, I forgot to ask. So when you come back in 2010, were you still playing vinyl, or had you changed to CDs or USB?
2010, good question. I think, do you know what? I can't even remember. I think it was a mixture of the both. I remember going to Ibiza with CDs. So yeah, it must have been CDs. So you'd spend like hours burning them and writing on there what they were, and creating those folders with all your CDs in.
Yeah.
And that's what we'd fly to Ibiza with, yeah. I couldn't have done it with vinyl back in the day, so definitely. It would have been definitely CDs. And then it started to change to USBs after that. Thank God, because I hated burning them CDs off, man. It was so dull.
It's funny, like I'm I'm not really a DJ anymore, but I will do the odd DJ gig. Like I played at like a massive record fair the other week, and I was just playing
Mhm.
on vinyl. So I still buy new records, but I also did
Yeah,
a gig with a mate of mine where we were playing like kind of like commercial house and stuff like that at this massive university party. So I had to download Record Box and buy some tunes off
okay.
Beatport and that. And thank God he was here to help me, because to get them on the
Yeah,
USB it was a bit of a challenge. Like it's a whole
yeah,
nother
yeah.
world, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I dabbled in Tractor as well. I was using Tractor for a while, and DJ probably for a whole year. I was using stems a lot and different kind of, where you kind of create a track from 4 or 5 different tracks live on the night. I really loved it. I really gigged out on it for a while. But I guess now that the music I play, soulful house, for me, you just kind of need to let the tracks breathe a little bit,
Hundred
and you
percent.
need to let them play. It's like a lot of the DJs I see nowadays, people like James Hype, where it's just, chopping and cutting from one thing. You only play 30 seconds of it. And for me, that's not what it's about. It's about letting the track breathe and really letting it do its job.
Yeah.
We just recently saw Louis Vega in London. It was actually the night of my mum's funeral, and Ronnie Hurrell put us on the guest list for it. And I had to go. I just had to go. It kind of helped take our mind off the day as well.
Yeah.
But watching him do a 6-hour set, just him, no one else, that's what it's all about. To be able to do that and just take people on that journey, that's what it's all about. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was insane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can talk about this more later, but with social media
Yeah,
and the small clips, and every time you watch a DJ, it just looks like they're just dropping bomb after bomb and huge reactions. But like that, I think
yeah,
kids coming through see that and just think, oh, their whole set's got to be just like, these big moments
yeah,
where really that might only happen once or twice in an hour and
yeah,
a half or something. But looking from on social media, it just looks like it's every track's huge, massive build up, and then you get that social
yeah.
media moment. But it's not where it shouldn't really be like that, should it?
No, it shouldn't. But I think one of the problems is now with these events, people cram so many DJs in. Um, there's so many DJs on the lineup to try and get, as many people to come as possible. You can only give them so much time, and a lot of them only have an hour to play. And I know a lot of DJs don't really like playing an hour. They prefer at least 2 or 3. So I guess if you've got like 4 or 5 headline DJs on a lineup, they're all going to go in and try and kill it. And that's the thing. I like doing a little bit of everything. I love doing a warm up set. I love playing those mid sets and the main sets as well. But sometimes you can get more enjoyment out of the warm up than you can the other one, because it just, I don't know, it feels better for me.
No pressure.
I like it.
You can just warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're the one who's in charge of the dance floor. You're attracting people in. That's where I always kind of drop at like 118 BPM, 117, somewhere like that, so that the crowd can feel it a bit more. If you start just going in with like 124, 125, it's kind of full on. It's important to ease them in.
So when did you really start leaning into Instagram and all the social media things that you do now?
So, so obviously my dream was always to be a DJ full time, and throughout my whole career, I was always working. So I spent basically 25 years in retail management. I started off working for Our Price, which was a record shop, then went to work for Virgin, then went to Hackett, which is a men's clothes shop, and then went to Alfred Dunhill, which again is another one, but high up. And I'd work on places like Jermyn Street and Sloane Street in London. Iconic places, but I never really wanted to do that. I always wanted to be a DJ. So it got to the point in 2019 where I was starting to get a lot more bookings, starting to make a lot more money. I was starting to do a lot of weddings as well, where they'd book a house DJ. I never really enjoyed doing normal weddings. I didn't really do those, but people that knew me as a house DJ, they'd book me. So around then is when I started to get busy. So 2020, January, I said to myself, I'm going to make the leap. I jacked in my job. I was currently at Stansted Airport at the time, and I went full time as a DJ, and it was the best thing I ever did. It was insane. Then 3 months later,
Oh, yeah.
COVID hit,
Yeah. I was just thinking,
and I was like, "Are you
worst
kidding
timing.
me?
Yeah.
Like, I've waited all this time, and I've chosen this time to go full time as a DJ." So, so, but straight away, this kind of thing clicked in my head that was like, okay, you've got a choice here. You can either sit on your ass and do nothing, or you can make something of this. So I, I did the other thing, and I spoke to DJs before about why haven't you got a website? Why is your DJ equipment so dirty whenever you go and play? And why why is your collection of music always just so confused and it's not structured? It's like a mess. And then I started to think, right, all those DJs that said they never have time, now's the time. So I got on social media and started talking about it. There was a site called Clubhouse during lockdown, which was huge. And it was basically just a site that you could go on and you could set up a room and people would come into that room and start talking. I ended up doing some incredible things on there with Lenny Fontana. We'd get like Todd Terry coming in and talking about stories from back in the day, and loads of iconic Chicago house DJs would come in and just talk about their stories. And then I'd have another room where I'd talk about social media. And that's kind of where it started. And the more I started helping people, the more I started to get that little buzz that you'd get from, like when you DJ and a crowd reacts and the crowd love it, you just get a buzz. It's like a drug. And I was getting that same feeling from helping other DJs. So someone would message me and go, I loved what you said last week. I've done this and it's changed this. Or, you've really inspired me. I was getting the same feeling from DJing. And I was like, okay, I like this. So I ended up writing a book. I've got them both here, actually. This was the book I wrote. It's called DJ's Guide to Success. And this basically said all the things you should be doing to get ready for when we come out of lockdown. So it was saying to DJs, don't just sit there, get online, start streaming so that when you come out of lockdown, people remember you because they could well forget you.
Yeah.
And some DJs really made it big during lockdown, oh man, I always forget his name, Doc One, good friend of mine. He absolutely killed it during lockdown. Would get millions of views on his streams, and now he's like headlining some of the biggest places. So it was all like that advice about what you need to do to get ready to come out, and it really gave me a buzz. And at the time, I started geeking out on social media, really looking closely at how Instagram worked, how Facebook worked. They were really the two big ones at the time. And then a friend of mine contacted me and said, can you help me with our social media for our estate agents here in Colchester called Elms Price & Co. And I started creating content for them. Then kind of word of mouth got out. Someone else said, oh, can you come and help me? And that's kind of where it started. So I ended up with about 4 or 5 different clients just working from the spare room in the UK. And the more I did it, the more I was kind of getting influenced by watching YouTube videos from different people. That's where I first heard of Gary Vaynerchuk. Don't know if you know him. He's a big business guy from New York, from Jersey. And I used to love how he talked and how he talked about social media in particular. So it was people like that. And then other people like Daniel Priestley now, he's really big. Carlos Gill, Donald Miller. All of these people I was getting influenced by and inspired by. And I just took a little bit from all of them. And that's kind of how I built my now is a social media career from it.
Yeah, it's really clever because it's one of them things, well, especially like older DJs who've been doing this for a long time. Their social media pages are, not all of them, but a lot of them are just pretty boring. They post
Yeah.
posters of they put a flyer up of a gig and that's it. Then they
Yeah.
don't post anything for another month, and you're like, oh man, like
Yeah.
they need someone to take control of this for them, and just there's so many things they could be posting. Even as a
Yeah.
it doesn't matter about your age, whatever, but there's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
Do you help
And that
any?
was
Oh, sorry. Do you help any older DJs out?
yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I helped Brandon with some stuff, and I've done Michael Gray's social media for a while. He's probably not an old DJ, but
Yeah.
he's really breaking the scene now. He just finished a tour in Australia and New Zealand. That he absolutely killed it. I do Ronnie Harrell's stuff for him, and for his brand as well, Funky Dory. And I've helped loads of other DJs as well. I do Bobby and Steve, who've got Groove Odyssey. But loads of people still kind of ask me for advice as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes just going to, like, I used to work for Clockwork Orange for 3 years as artist accreditation manager. And that was one of the other things as well, because one of my jobs was to collect their information to send to the guys to curate all the artwork and stuff. And when they'd send me their press kits, it was just like so old fashioned. There was nothing in there. Their bio was terrible. Their press shots were terrible. And it just got me thinking, I need to help these people.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how big they are. They need help. And like you mentioned, one of my big kind of hates on social media is these DJs that are just posting flyers all the time. They don't think of it like a community place, or a place to grow following. Not all of them anyway. And those that do are doing it brilliantly. People like Sam Devine, Roger Sanchez. Roger Sanchez still he's probably one of the biggest DJs in the world, but he still posts videos of him going around an art gallery or something with his wife, or going to his favorite restaurant in Miami. And that's the stuff that helps you connect with a DJ and really get to know them better. And I find that when I'm talking to other DJs as well, when they tell me about their past or their musical tastes, I go, he's like me. He likes Louis Vega, or he likes the kind of music I like. So there's a connection. And that's the thing that DJs need to think about on social media. Is it's not just a billboard. It's a place for you to connect with your audience and to grow a following. And for me, that's really important.
What you do, it's brilliant. What's the latest thing you're doing with the AI? Is that a new book that you've written, or is that like an online
Yeah, so I've
thing?
just written another book. So the second book I wrote was Amplify Your Brand, which is all about thinking, DJs thinking more like a brand. So making sure that everything looks the same across all of your social media channels, and how you talk is the same. But just, thinking of yourself as a brand. And I think when brands like Glitterbox came out, that was so important that DJs started to think like that. So that was my second book. And this new one is born off everything I've learned running my social media agency. So one of the biggest issues with me is time. I find myself sometimes working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to get everything done. And just simple things like doing my client reports every month. They used to take me an hour to do a report on people's social media. And since AI kind of got introduced, things like ChatGTP, and now Claude, Google Gemini, Perplexity, all these different platforms, I started to geek out on these as well, just like I did with social media. And I started to find ways of saving time. And that became a massive thing for me. And again, it made me think, right, here we are again in lockdown with the problem with DJs not having time. I've got all of these tools that I use. I've got all of this knowledge. Why don't I just tell everybody what I'm doing, and they can use it to help build their DJ careers? So things like writing your bio as a DJ, when you have to put it on Mixcloud or on your website, I'd sit there for hours back in the day thinking what to write, and I'm not great at writing either. I'm okay speaking, but I find it hard to write things down. And I just found that with AI, I could tell it what I wanted, and it would just write it for me, like within that. So going back to the social media reports for my clients now, used to take me an hour. They now take 15 minutes, and they're a million times better than they were when I spent an hour on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what this book is all about. The big message about it is DJs don't have a talent problem, they have a distribution problem. So what that means is that there's all these DJs out there with incredible talent, but no one can see them. So this book is going to help them understand how to use AI to save time, to make your content better so that more people see it. And that's really what it's about. And it's going to help people. It's going to help a load of DJs and business owners, because for me, it's the same language. No matter what you're doing, it's still the same thing. So that's it. I literally finished writing it this week. It went to print on Amazon and it went live today. So it should be available next week. I actually think it's available in Australia at the moment, but nowhere else.
All those books you can still purchase now?
Yeah, they're all on Amazon.
Oh,
yeah,
you can just type in. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can always just type in Paul Hutchinson and they'll come up. Or you can have a link below. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll put all the links in the description for this. That's actually how
I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that's how I bought Danny Clockwork's book from Amazon.
Okay.
Have you read that?
Yeah. I've read half of it. At the time where I was reading it, I was working for him, and we were just like, it was just so busy the whole time. But I've read half of it. I do need to finish it. Incredible read, incredible story.
Yeah, insane.
I don't know how that guy is still alive.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, oh my god, and he still seems like he's got all of his, his marbles are all still there. It's crazy.
He's great to work with. I mean, he's got ADHD like I have as well, but it's kind of sometimes they're the best people. Because they're just constantly thinking, it's like, it's incredible. And I remember how I started working for them. I was operations manager at the time at Paradis, and they had an event on, which was absolutely packed. And my job was just kind of stand on the door and look after people and make sure everything ran smoothly. And I remember watching him just getting pulled left, right, and centre by DJs saying, "Can I have a drinks token? Can you get this person in?" And all he wanted to do was to talk to the people who attend, the Orange Army, we call them.
Yeah.
And I said to him afterwards, next time you do an event, if you want some help, I'll look after all the DJs, and you do your thing. And that's kind of how it worked. And I ended up being the next party was one of their biggest. It was a party in Chelmsford at the racecourse. There was like 15,000 people, some of the biggest DJs in the world. So I was kind of in charge of helping put it all together and managing the DJs on the day. And I had a great team of people helping me, all my mates who were loved all of these DJs as much as I did. So it was really cool. And we just focused on the DJs and made them feel special. And that was really important because they didn't always get that before. So it was brilliant. Yeah, so I had 3 incredible years with Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, their parties are just going from strength to strength. Even now, it blows me away.
Yeah. I always said back in the day, it was all quite tailored to the UK, and I kept saying to Danny, "You need to do parties in other places. I've got connections in New Zealand and Australia. Let me hook you up with some people I know." And then he kind of started to get it, and now they're doing stuff all over the place, which is great. They've done Australia and Thailand and loads of stuff. It's working.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'm sure they've got some pretty big things planned for Ibiza this season.
They're doing their usual 4-day parties, different venues. Yeah, it'll be another great week.
Yeah, I saw you're playing at a pool party. I can't think of the name of the venue, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Palm
sure you're.
Star. I'm playing with Groove Odyssey. Yeah,
That's right.
in
Yep.
3 weeks, I think it is 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's a brand I've admired for a long time. Again, Bobby and Steve, very it's their brand as well. And I've started doing all of their artwork for their releases as well. So the last 5 tracks that came out on Groove Odyssey, I designed the artwork. So I've been doing that for them. I've been doing Bobby's socials for a number of years now. So to be invited onto that party was a massive one for me. I've wanted to play for them for years.
oh, unreal. And
Yeah,
I don't know if we mentioned it, but you actually live in Spain full time now.
yeah. So
Don't think we said that on the
we
podcast yet.
no. So yeah, we moved here from the UK 3 years ago. Again, with the job that I had at the time with social media, this was also the reason why I started doing it was because I wanted to do something I could do from anywhere in the world. And I knew I could DJ. So wherever I went, I knew I could get gigs DJing. But I'm 55. I don't know how many years I've got left DJing. Probably another 10, 15 years, hopefully, if not more. Because this one quick note on that. I used to think there's no way I can be DJing at 60. But what you need to remember is that the people that love the music that you love are also getting old. So they don't want to let go of it either.
Yeah,
So I can still see, some of the biggest DJs now are like in their 60s. I can still see it happening where people are just going to want it. So it doesn't matter about age. As long as you've got that, the feeling and the music is still there, then it's all good. But yeah, anyway, so we wanted a job that we could do anywhere in the world, and that was it, social media and DJing. So we moved here. Then we took some time out after the first winter, and we went to Bali and lived in Bali for 3 months, traveled around Bali and Thailand while I was working as well, just to get a flavour of whether I could do that. And it was okay, but the time difference was a bit of a pain, like 7 hours behind the UK at the time. And I also didn't like getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Liverpool play. So I was like, there's no way I could do this. When I was in New Zealand, it was different. 12 hours was all right. You kind of get up and have breakfast and watch football. But
yeah.
yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning having a
Yeah.
beer, it doesn't really work.
We go to Bali quite a bit because it's not far from where I live. But
Of
one
course.
thing for sure, the internet is always pretty shit over there too. Was that a problem
Yeah,
for you?
touch and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some horrendous weather. We obviously went during the rainy season, but most of the time it was okay. But we had 2 weeks where it was horrendous. We'd have power cuts, trees coming down. I remember one day we had to get on the scooter, me and my wife, drive through the floods of this village we were in to go to a hotel that was nearby, which is the only place that had power. They had like a generator. So we'd go there and work. It was actually the same day as the Super Bowl, because I remember watching the Super Bowl while I was working.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, living in Spain here in Estepona, so we're not far from Marbella, right at the tip of Africa. It's just incredible. We love it. The weather's obviously 10 times better. The people are incredible. And the town where we live, Estepona, is just so nice, so Spanish. But you've got that kind of English element as well. Yeah, it's definitely the best move we've ever made.
And you were saying
I
that
love
that's
it.
where you heard the radio station that you now have your radio show on. Do you want to tell us that
Yeah,
story, how that
so
happened?
yeah, on the drive over, so when I first came over, I did a couple of trips. One was in a van with all of our gear that we put in the lockup just before we moved in. And then another one was to bring my car over. I had a Jag at the time. And listening on the way over in the van, I was just flicking through the radio stations. And as I got into Malaga area and Marbella, heard this one called Beach Grooves. And the music was just perfect. It was soulful house, it was deep house. And they had a jingle where they said, if you're a DJ and you want to play, send us a mix. So I did. And the second week of moving here, I got a response back from the station owner saying, "We'd love to have you on. We love your sound." And literally, as we speak, it's 11:36 here in Spain. My show is now live on Beach Cruise Radio and goes out every Friday morning, 11 till 12. And this is show number 161, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, I love it. It's a great station. It's been insane. So yeah, that was my first thing of wanting to get here. I wanted to be on a radio station, so that was it.
And the name is pretty cool. I don't want to butcher it, but can you it's I'll give it a whirl.
Oh, my
Mikasa.
brand name.
No, the radio
Goes for it.
show is the
Yeah,
Mikasa es tu casa, which
that's
means
exactly it.
oh, is that right? Did I get it right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It
cool.
translates to my house is your house.
Yeah, that's brilliant. What a name.
Yeah. So this is also my brand that I have. So I do events and I do parties, and the brand name is Mi Casa es tu casa. So when I thought of it, it was like, my house is your house. So the house music that I love, I know you will love as well. So that was the theory behind it. That ended up being my first tattoo, house music for the soul, and then I kind of got addicted.
So,
But
so cool.
yeah, Mi Casa es tu casa, we've done some great stuff. We've done parties in Ibiza, in Italy, Amsterdam, here in Spain as well, where I live. So yeah, we've got some good stuff. And actually, I'm flying back to the UK next weekend. We've got a great event in Great Dunmow where it all started 10 years ago. And I've got a girl called Saya playing. She's awesome. She's doing some great stuff. Andy King, who is one of my old friends, but he's just kind of started DJing again recently. Dave Valentine, who's been DJing with me for years. He used to be with Sunscream. I don't know if you remember a track called Love You More.
Yep.
It was back in the day. He was the DJ for Sunscream, and he stopped DJing for years. And he saw what I was doing on social media, and he messaged me one day and said, "I love what you're doing. I'd love to hook up with you." And I was like, "Oh, come out to Ibiza," because I lived out there at the time. And I kind of got him back into DJing, and now he's playing all over the place. So it's really cool. So yeah, we're back in Great Dunmow next weekend, which is going to be wicked.
Mate, I got a good question for you. If you were like, I don't know, you could be young, middle-aged, old, whatever, but if you were starting out as a DJ now, what would be your advice? What would you do differently to what you did in the past?
I don't know about what I'd do differently, but I think one of the most important things is to learn the history of the music that you play. I think that's a really important one. If you're going to be a house DJ, it's important that you know who Frankie Knuckles is and Larry Levan and all these people that started it. And it's important that you know the music from back then, because it will give you an idea of what to play now, and the other big lesson that I give new DJs is play the right music at the right time in the right venue. Again, another lesson from when I lived in Ibiza. I was resident DJ at Ibiza Rocks Bar, and we'd get DJs coming in that were given an opportunity to play, and they'd come in on a Thursday afternoon at 2:00 and start banging out loads of techno, and it was just not right for that time of day or that venue. It didn't work, and I used to say to myself, "You've just wasted your opportunity. You've just totally thrown it away. Why would you do that?" It didn't make sense to me. So that's my biggest lesson. Learn your history and make sure you're playing the right music at the right time. It's still important to be able to mix, but for me, that's not the be all and end all. The important thing is playing the right songs at the right time, definitely. And going back to when I started, there was a lot of drugs about back then. I never really got involved in any of the heavy stuff, but I used to smoke a little bit, and I used to record my sets on a tape machine. And when I'd go back and listen to them afterwards, some of the mixes weren't that great, but it would kind of make me go, okay, next time you need to focus more and maybe just not smoke so much. But that's kind of how it was back then, So, but yeah, that's definitely one for me. If you're going to be a DJ, don't get involved with all of that. Every DJ you look at now, all the big ones from back in the day, Danny Clockwork, Brandon Block, who all caned it, are all sober now. And there's a reason. If you're going to be a DJ, a professional DJ, flying around the world, you can't do it. So think about what you really want to do and give it everything. Give it your all.
Yeah, that's great advice. Stay sober. Have a good time every now and again, but you can't be caning.
Yeah, I think after your set is fine. But and another good thing as well is for new DJs is to get there early. If you're going to play somewhere, at least arrive an hour before.
Yeah.
So you can see the other DJ before you, what they're playing. And also another little tip I like is going out onto the dance floor so you can feel what it's like and watch the DJ. Because most of the time, DJs have just got their head down. They're like, if they're playing on a laptop especially, they'll just be staring at their laptop the whole time and not looking up at the crowd. So that's another really important one. Have a little look at that and get a feel for what it's like.
Yeah. Great advice. I interviewed one of the biggest legend DJs in Australia, a guy called John Corse, and it doesn't matter whether he's playing in a pub, 10,000 capacity venue, he gets there 2 hours before and just listens to what the other guys are playing. So he can, make sure he doesn't play the same tunes they have. If they played a big hit, make sure he'll play something different to that. It's all part of the job, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. I interviewed Michael Gray once back in the day when he was DJing as Full Intention with John. And I remember interviewing them in the hallway before they went on. And while I was talking to Michael, John would be kind of leaning over, listening to what's going on. And I said, are you listening to what I'm saying? And he's like, yeah, I'm listening, but it's important we hear what they're playing because we don't want to play the same stuff. It's just little things like that, really important. Defo.
Oh, mate, side note, how good was Full Intention?
Oh, incredible. Yeah.
Such beautiful music.
And for me, Michael Gray now is absolutely killing it.
Yep.
His productions are just it's really got his own sound. They're quite clean, his productions, but the drops he makes are just always brilliant. I love his sound, everything he's doing. He's just got a new track out today, actually. I posted about it on his Sultra page because I manage his Sultra page. His new track, Gravity. I think it's currently number 4 on TrackSource, but that'll be number 1 by tomorrow. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's got a real nice... he made me laugh because I said to him, I love that piano in it. And he said, it's not a piano, it's a clav. It's like 3 or 4 clavs all put together and they just sound so good.
I'll check that out when we knock this off.
Yeah, you need to listen, man. It's a great track.
I buy all of his stuff on vinyl.
Yeah, he's got a new album coming out as well in, I think it's next month. Yeah.
He must be so
That'd be
busy.
good to listen to.
So
yeah,
busy.
Man, he's
always touring.
Every day he spends in the studio, and most weekends he's playing now. So, yeah, he's a busy guy. It was always hard getting hold of him. I used to like sitting down with my clients at least once a week to kind of talk to them about what's happening, and it was always hard tracking him down and wherever he was, and but yeah,
busy.
great guy. Yeah.
Unreal. Well, mate, before we finish off with some rapid fire questions, have you got any other cool gigs coming up or anything else that's coming up that you want to mention?
Yeah, just my Mikasa parties in the UK. I've got at least 4 or 5 coming over there. So we've got next week over there. Then we're back in July. I've got 2 nights that I'm playing. One in Colchester, which is my hometown. A brand new night at a brand new venue. Can't wait for that. That's going to be wicked. It's called the Lexington Crown. I'm going to be playing with Darryl Wright, who I used to DJ with as Slave to House. So that's going to be a nice one. And then the next night we go back to Great Dunmow. And then I've got a couple of bits here. Obviously we've got Groove Odyssey in Ibiza. And then we've got a party here in Marbella called Chicknick. and Sandy Rivera's playing on that. So that's going to be a great one.
Wow.
I've played with Sandy a couple of times. So that's pretty much it. But if you want to find out more about me, the best place is hit me up on Instagram at Paul Hutchinson DJ. Keep a track of everything there.
All right, mate. Some rapid fire to finish.
Shoot.
Whatever comes into your mind, just blurt it
Okay.
out. All right. Vinyl or digital?
Digital. Yeah, I got bored of vinyl. Digital, you can do so much more. Like 3 or 4 decks, you can chuck in the acapellas, and I just feel like it's
loops.
Digital all day.
One track that never fails on a dance floor.
For me, Masters at Work, Backfired, the Joey Negro remix. One of the best drops for me, the way it builds, and it's just such a soulful, uplifting track. It's one of my go-to tracks. Yeah, Masters at Work, Backfired.
Ibiza crowd or hometown crowd?
Oh man,
Tough one.
Back in the day, 2010, I would probably say the Ibiza crowd, because we had some great nights. Now it's changed a little bit. They're not so good. So now I'd probably say UK, but all right, now let's go UK.
Wow. Best set you've ever played?
Oh man,
Some of
there's
these
been some great ones.
Yeah.
I would probably say it was Hush in Ibiza with Darryl Wright. We turned up, we had a 3-hour set, and when we got there was no one in the club. It was probably about 20 people. After 15 minutes, there was probably 100. After 30 minutes, a couple of hundred. And after an hour, the place was packed. And the way Hush is built, the DJ booth is kind of on this corner, and the crowd is so close to you and crammed in, probably only about 300 people. I've played, 3,000 people in New Zealand, but this was really special because it just went off. We played brilliantly. The crowd reaction was insane, and how close they were to you was the thing that did it. That was probably my best set.
Yeah. Sorry, just a side note on that. I used to DJ in a duo as well in the 2000s, and I just felt like the mix of both of our styles just created this really cool chemistry, whereas I would be tempted to go harder, he would be tempted to go softer, and somewhere in the middle, there was just always a bit of magic that happened. Is that how you felt it was with your old partner?
Yeah, 100%. I'd hear a track that he played, and I wasn't expecting him to play it, and it'd inspire me to think of something similar. So we'd almost be pushing each other all the time. And that's how we worked. We'd just drop banger after banger back in the day.
Yeah.
It was insane. Now that on that subject, there's a group of incredible DJs who have got together called Good for the Soul, which is Brandon Block, Ronnie Harrell, Ricky Morrison, and Bobby and Steve. And watching them play together is ridiculous. Bobby is almost in charge of the acapellas, and then Brandon has his own little way of doing things. And watching them four is brilliant. But I love DJing with other people. It's wicked.
Yeah, that's cool. I have to check that out too. What's that called? Good for the Soul.
So they're called Good for the Soul. They actually launched last year at Funky Dory, and now they're playing all over the place here in the UK.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'll check that out as
well. 4 iconic DJs.
Yeah.
What's
the worst moment at a gig you've ever had?
It would probably be the one we talked about at the beginning with the DJ competition, where the other DJ put his bag down on the vinyl, man. That was pretty bad. And one other one that I remember, New Zealand, a bar called Ecstasy Plus. I was playing New Year's Eve. I was playing the headline set at midnight. And as I was DJing, the girls above me let off these flares, and they were dancing. They were like dancers above. And whatever it is that's in the flares was dripping down onto the decks, and it was burning holes in the vinyl.
Oh, no.
And I was properly stressing out, having to mix before it got to the burn part where it was going to jump. So that was a kind of real stressful set. Yeah. And
Ah,
that was playing in front of 2,500 people, I think.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no one knows what you're going through. Hey, they don't.
No, no, no. I'm
If the
just trying to
record
wing it.
jumps, they'll just go, "Oh, this guy's hopeless." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One mistake DJs keep making these days.
Um, yeah, the thing with social media where they're just posting flyers, and not building a connection. They're using social media as a notice board instead of a place to build a community. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
One thing that matters more than talent.
Or again, we touched on it a little bit. Knowledge of the music, and having that the history. It really does help you when you're DJing. If you lose the floor at any moment, that knowledge will be the thing that helps you bring it all back, and it'll be the thing that keeps people on the floor as well. So yeah, knowledge.
Great answer that. Because you could have just said, "Oh, hard work beats talent," but yeah, that's good knowledge.
It's too
Uh,
easy, man.
yeah, yeah. Uh, this one's pretty easy for you. Social media overrated or essential?
It's essential, man.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I've got no money coming in. But
yeah,
no, it's. Do you know what? It's. I just think it's a great tool, and it's people don't think of it enough like that. It's free for us to use this as well. Obviously, we have to fight the algorithm, but there are ways around that by building your email list or your WhatsApp followers. You can create a WhatsApp group and build your own followers that way, and then you don't have to worry about the algorithm. But you've got these huge platforms that allow you to post on there for nothing, and so many people are not doing it, and I'm like, why?
yeah,
You've got it's just if you want to get out there. This is the other thing. When I started DJing, it was in my hometown. We'd have to walk round the town handing out cassettes to bars, and you would be lucky to get a gig where you lived. Now you can go on social media and get a gig anywhere in the world. I could come to Australia and play.
yeah.
Because when I look at my SoundCloud following, I've got a big following in Australia, I've got a big following in Brazil. All of these things, you wouldn't know that without social media. So for me, it's really important.
If you had to start again tomorrow, what would be your first move?
Oh, man, alive. Um, I'd probably say have a clear plan of what I wanted to achieve. So, wherever my biggest goal was, I would make sure that I set up a plan of how I aim to get there. So it'd be simple steps. When I think back to my 100K walk, I did this walk for a water charity in Africa, and they flew me out to Malawi to do some work with them for a week. But training for this walk, I kept thinking about 100K. How the hell am I going to walk that? At the time where I lived, I think it was like walking to London and back. And I'm like, I just couldn't picture it. But I kept thinking, right, let's just do a 5K walk today. Then next week, we're going to do a 20K walk, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up, I think the maximum I did was like 40K before the walk. But I actually completed the walk on the day. And it gave me such a buzz and such a feeling of um, I could achieve anything I wanted. I can do anything now because I never thought I could do that. So that's what I would do now as a DJ is set a clear plan of what I wanted and then set little goals of how I'm going to get there. And that's what I'd do differently because I never had a plan back in the day. I was just winging it and just seeing what happened.
Yeah,
And it also got to a point where I thought I was bigger than I was. So I thought people knew who I was. And when I went to New Zealand in 2013, sorry, when I went to Ibiza in 2013, I thought loads of people were going to come up to me and just offer me gigs left, right, and centre. And it never happened. So it was a real eye opener that I didn't really have a plan in place. So yeah, definitely do that.
oh mate, this has been brilliant. I'm yeah, I'm yeah, just so thankful that you jumped on and had a chat. It's been really good, and yeah, I'm sure
It's
everyone
been
listening,
awesome, man. I loved it.
yeah, everyone listening and watching, especially the DJs that will be watching, you got to take note, listen to what you're saying because everything you said has been just spot on, bang on the money. So yeah,
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not enough DJs that help other DJs. So there's not many of us, but I think it's important that we look after each other, you know? We're all in the same boat. And other DJs sometimes get scared that other DJs are going to steal their job. And if you're good enough, you'll still get spotted. You'll still rise to the top. So you shouldn't have that mentality. It's house music, particularly in the house music community, is built on love. And people need to remember that. It's the love that keeps us together. It's the love that puts you on the dance floor. And that's why you play the music you play, because you love it. So don't ever let go of that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's one good thing to finish on that. Like back in the day, I
Yeah.
probably would have never done it, but like I'm always sharing my mates like tunes or maybe they've done something cool. I'm always posting it on social media, and I just think like, man, everyone should do that. Like if you see your mate
Yeah.
do something, at least like it.
Yeah,
Comment,
man.
say well done. Like takes nothing. Like don't be jealous.
Yeah.
Life's too
Yeah,
short.
man.
Yeah,
You definitely got to spread the love and
yeah,
support each other. Yeah. Because we know how hard it is. You know, we know how hard it is to make it. We know how hard it is to get our content seen on social media. So we could definitely help each other more.
yeah. Brilliant. Great spot to
Nice.
end. Thanks again,
Thank you,
Paul.
brother. It's been great. Loved
This
it.
has been awesome. And yeah, mate, if this war ends and the flights are doable, I'll definitely be heading over to Ibiza this season. So
Yeah.
I'll definitely be trying to catch up with you. Hopefully you're DJing or something when I'm over. I'll come and check it out.
Yeah. And then next year I'll try and come to Oz.
Yeah.
Me and my wife have been talking about it. I
Yeah,
want
for
to get out
sure.
there. I need to come and see Stevie as well. Stevie Hill.
Yeah, mate. Yep. Yeah, he's always in
Yeah.
Australia, like gigging, and
Yeah.
he's always around. So he's another one
Yeah, man.
super busy.
Yeah. It's good to see.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks, Paul, man. Bloody legend.